All right, this is part two, um, week 5, through JavaScript to do, of course. And we ran into a little challenge. We were moving the um, query assignment stuff to the view model, and we ran into an issue where we were kind of just testing things. And there's a situation where when we retrieve the data, it's not being recreated as actual to-do objects from like a to-do item objects. It was just an object array. And so it was losing the prototype. So we thought we had fixed that bug before, but we didn't. So now what we're trying to do is when we retrieve the to-dos, we realize that if there wasn't any saved, I don't think this has anything to do with anything, but this should work. I mean, it should be at least something. So to-dos, because I guess maybe an add to-do, are we maybe during the init, are we retrieving the to-dos? Like when do we retrieve the to-dos? To-do controller. Yeah, so we retrieve the to-dos in the beginning, I think. Yeah, we retrieve the do's, so retrieve the to-dos. That's the very first thing that we do in the app. So we say, let's save data, add to do. I still don't understand why that would make any difference, but okay, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Test, add to do. We're still running into that same error. To-dos push. So this to-dos is, we're not getting anything. We have to-dos here. Let's console log this to-dos. Okay. To-dos. Okay. Still nothing. What are we getting? To-dos. To-do model. Where's to-do model? To-dos is undefined. Why is this undefined? To-do. model dot to-dos. Okay, so uh, why would it have been working though before I changed arrow function? The function is called without being attached to an object. Why this to-dos is undefined. It is highly probable that your method is not being called in the context of to-dos model, but rather as a standalone function or callback. This happens in a situation of assigning a method to a variable and then calling them. Find this. I don't understand. JavaScript. Sorry, I'm struggling with this. So this add to do. And I think it must be because of the add to do, this part down here. I am doing that. Retrieve to do. So this is when doing this, I lose context of this. Okay, so back. So in my retrieve data, a retrieve to do's method, I am assigning add do's to this dot add to do's, and then calling function from within for each function. How can I bind add to do's to the to do model object that has the to do's parameter. Okay, and there are several ways to correctly bind add to do's method within the retrieve to do's method when using the for each loop, ensuring it refers to the to do model object. Stack Overflow notes that in a typical function call, this is implicitly passed like a parameter to the function's prefix, the part before the dot. Using function.prototype.bind. This is a classic reliable method. This bind this dot to do model. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so in this, I'm going to say this add to do dot find this to do model. It doesn't seem exactly like what we just looked at. This to do model add to do's dot bind this to do. So I think it screwed us. We don't need this. Okay, I think this will work. No. Oh, what? constructor. Okay, I am not using the class of only what is available. That's fine. Function prototype find. So add to dos. Uh, I retrieve the dos is so I don't know. I feel like that's what it's supposed to do. All right. So this to-do model has undefined. What is this? So this is what we need. So this add to do this that's got to be it. Yes. Okay, so now we should be able to test, refresh, test. Okay, we fixed the bug. Woo! We got to celebrate that with a nice sip of coffee. All right, so now we're going to do a part 4 or a day 4, and we're going to work on what we actually wanted to work on, which was what was it? Move the DOM select. Well, so we'll do a part X of day 3, and then we will do this add checkbox in day 4, and then we will move on to week 6. Feel pretty good about this. We probably need to work on our debugging skills before our next round of these videos. I also think maybe I need to store a list of all the questions that I asked, all the things I Googled and looked up. I don't know if I have everything, but I can always watch back through the videos, which I don't want to do. But maybe I'll do that. So this feels good. We got it back to working, and we learned a lot about this and context. So feel good. Chase your dreams.